I want to be accepting of people, but at the same time, I don't want to. I feel like we have so much division in our country that we now, to me, it feels like we have two flags. We have the American flag, and I feel like we have the pride flag. I really want Americans to feel united again. That's my dream. I want us to all feel like we can have a singular flag that represents all of us. Hi, my friends. I wanted to do a quick video on the concept of, do we have two flags in this country? So I went to a Starbucks with my daughter, and they had a massive LGBTQ pride flag hanging up. They did not have a United States flag. I was in the mall. I just wanted to spend some quality time with my daughter. We popped in. I know that Starbucks, a lot of times the employees are known for being extremely progressive, and the brand in general kind of has that bent to it. But for me, again, walking in the mall, just wanted to grab a coffee. I wasn't interested in participating in some sort of political movement. So I was honestly offended. I was offended that they had the flag up, and that's just kind of like very much in your face of like, well, if you're buying coffee here, you're supporting this. And it's like, really? Like, this is literally like a corporate coffee shop. I just want to come in and buy a coffee and leave and gripe about how much they're overcharging me, right? I don't want to feel like now I've gotten pulled into this thing, right? So for me, I'm somebody that's I want to be accepting of people, but at the same time, I don't want to. I feel like we have so much division in our country that we now, to me, it feels like we have two flags. We have the American flag, and I feel like we have the pride flag. My best guess is that people felt like, hey, we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be celebrated and represented. So we're going to make this flag that represents us. For me, I feel like when we do that, we're reinforcing the notion of these identity politics, and we are just basically drawing lines between us, which, again, I talk about this frequently. As soon as we're drawing boxes around ourselves, it makes it harder for us to feel like we're united, and it makes us feel like we are. If we go outside the bounds of our box, then the people in the group that challenges the cohesion of the box, and then people, you feel like you're betraying your own people and this type of stuff. You're hanging out with the bad people or whatever, right? Like if you leave your box, now people get upset, right? So I feel like I want to live in a society that's a lot more united, with a lot less identity, strict identity groups and identity politics and division. So how do we get there? I'm not sure, but we should be talking about it. For me, I think having this flag, I'm very much conflicted on it, because it's one, it's like, if people want to kind of have this banner and this icon to represent themselves, I don't inherently have a problem with it, because if you have a movement, you want to have some sort of symbol for the movement. I get that, but for me, when I see a flag and I don't see the American flag, I just feel like, what's this about? Because I feel like the American flag is meant to be the United States of American flag, but at the same time, we can't. We really have to acknowledge that for a long time now, I think the American flag has been tightly tied with conservatism, and I would I would posit that many people don't feel like the flag represents them. If you look at a lot of conservative YouTubers, their background is typically the American flag, and I think that they're sending a strong message to their viewers: "Hey, I'm a conservative, and see my pride. This is my pride." So the people that have the pride flag, it's like this is my pride, and conservatives say this is my pride, the American flag. But I think that speaks volumes about the state of our country and where we're at. And it does, to me, feel like you're either on one team or you're on the other team. And so again, when I go to a Starbucks and I only see the pride flag hanging up, it did insult me, and I felt offended by it. And I felt that I don't want to come to this restaurant anymore, because I don't want. I live in America. When I come to a coffee shop in America, I don't want to see this symbol, which I feel is very divisive. It feels like you're either on this team or you're on the conservative side. It's not all included. And again, we see the hypocrisy of the idea of the inclusive movement. It's like, oh, you can come in here, but you believe this, right? And I see that. I live in a very progressive area, and I see the pride flag up all the time. It's almost like, again, for me, I feel like this. I wonder how much of it is performative and still, I think so many of us want to move beyond the virtue signaling era and just kind of get to a point where we can just fucking all exist without constantly having to be doing this virtue signaling thing. For me, I think virtue signaling is a sign of massive weakness. It's like a very weak move. I think it's very easy to be like, just kind of put on the sticker and say like, I'm on the good side or whatever. I just feel like, it's a lot for me. The more difficult task is feeling like let's all get united under one banner. Let's all get united under a notion of yeah. Um, I think about this. It's like, hey, if a lot of people don't feel that they are represented on the United States flag, which doesn't, in my opinion, have any, um, I'm sure a lot of people would have some opinions on the history of the flag and how it represented colonies or something, and then it turned into, that's there's some sort of tying into racism, so the flag sucks and whatever. Um, but I feel like it's if we made a new flag today, I was just as a thought experiment thinking, hey, what if we made a new flag that where we say, okay, we don't need to be singularly choosing United States flag or this other flag. We'll do a new flag that represents us. I feel like that would be the most hotly contested and divisive experiment ever to be conceived of, and categorically people would reject it. And I just think that speaks to how divided we are as a nation. I think if we did do it, every single it would be how it would have to represent thousands of identity groups, different genders, different black people, white people, all these different races. And it just felt like it would be a massive um, exercise in futility. But yeah, it was just I think that really just us all talking about that, and I think most people would agree with that. If we redid the flag, it would be a total clusterfuck, to say the least. And again, I think that says a lot about the state of our country as it stands. We are massively divided by identity groups, and we don't have a commonality. So I want to just talk about that in the sense of I think we need a national identity. For me, I've said it multiple times. I think our national identity should come from a willingness to, I should say, an embracing of um, freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and not trying to cancel people. If we could have an environment where we say, hey, look, I've got my ideas, and I'm a person, I'm imperfect, I'm trying to figure it out, and you're a person, and you're imperfect, and you're trying to figure it out, and we can say stuff and we can open our mouths without people attacking us massively and coming after us in real life and trying to cancel people. If we can have an environment where we can all stand on that, and we in this country we can say we are all a free people with an ability to express ourselves, and you express your opinion, and you're allowed to do that in a public space and online and this and that and the other thing, and you don't get canceled, and I'm able to do that, um, then I think that that's something we could all rally behind. I think for me, I'm passionate about talking about division, and I want to push us towards unity. I want men and women to kind of figure it out, get back together more so than we have. I want everybody in our country to feel. I really want Americans to feel united again. That's my dream. I want us to all feel like we can have a singular flag that represents all of us. And again, I'm trying to talk about the values that would represent. The values of freedom of expression. I think if we could foster, and it's weird because you can't legislate it, because the freedom of speech is only protects you from getting arrested, but it doesn't prevent you from losing your livelihood or getting your reputation ruined. And a lot of people, depending on the side that you're on, crave that. Oh, he said the wrong thing. Let's string him up. And there's not really the cancel culture's been going on for a long time. I think, are we ready to move on? I'm ready to move on. I've been ready to move on for 10 years. Um, I think we need to be comfortable with people expressing themselves, and maybe not in the most articulate manner or saying things that are politically correct. I think we need to get into a culture that's a lot less politically correct, but we realize we're a lot more trusting of each other, that there's love, and that, yeah, like, let's allow ourselves, look, let me finish on this note. I was in a relationship, and my ex-girlfriend had said something to me like, oh, so like you can criticize me, but anytime I can criticize you, you get all bent out of shape and you get all butthurt about it. And when she said that, I was so glad that she said that to me, because I was at that point in my life, I was done with being in just this arrogant, um, you know, um, insecure baby. I was just, I said, look, I don't want to be this immature, insecure baby anymore in my life. I want to actually do the work. I want to be a man. And you know what? Being a man, being somebody that's actually strong and being secure, is somebody that can take a joke and laugh about themselves, or somebody that can take criticism and consider it, if as long as it's constructive and you're not berating somebody. But to actually hear valid criticism and take accountability, or laugh at yourself. If somebody, here's a sign of insecurity. If somebody tells a funny joke that's on it, like sincerely funny, that's a biting witticism, but it really hits on the person, and they can't laugh at it, and they get all offended by it, that's a sign of a massively insecure person. And so, yeah, when my ex had told me that, I listened, and I said, yeah, maybe she's right. And from then on, anytime somebody's been made fun of me, or told me something critically, I've done my best attempt to listen to them. And that's the culture that we need. That's the culture where we need to accept that we need to really tell ourselves as Americans, we're not as racist as we want to believe. We're not as sexist as we want to believe. We're not as homophobic and transphobic as we want to believe. Actually, a lot of people can be really cool with other people, provided that you're cool with them. And but there's so much tenseness and sensitivity, and we really need to be moving into a time where we all feel a little bit more secure in ourselves, and we're a little bit more ready to not play the victim and just let things kind of brush off our shoulders. Um, there are a lot of heavy things at stake. Particularly, like what we teach children is a massive one. I have kids, and I've been very upset with a lot of things that my kids have been exposed to in their school. So that's a difficult one, because people want to feel like, let's teach these kids to be a certain way, or there's a lot of issues surrounding that. So that's going to be a difficult one. But just in general, I think if what we need to be doing is feeling more secure in ourselves and more trusting in our fellow Americans, that we want to be united. I'll just close with this message that I feel, for me, my dream in America for the next, I think everybody's ready to move on to the next phase, the next era, the next decade. Typically, a new movement or whatever will be 7 to 12 years. The '60s culture gave way to the '70s culture, gave way to the '80s. I think we're ready for the next culture. We've been a culture of division for 10 years, and it's fucking time to move on. So, yeah, I don't, I, I don't really want to see more flags show up. I want to see less flags show up, because I want to feel that more people feel united. So, anyways, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'd love to hear your commentary down below. Again, I want to be somebody that's like a unifying force. I'm not trying to cause further division. I certainly don't hope I certainly hope that people are not getting that from my what I'm talking about. And if you're making a comment, I'd love comments to be in good faith towards that uniting effort. So thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you. So see you in the next one.